Okay. Onegaishimasu. Okay, let's do a little warm up. Let's roll the shoulders, get the spine mobilized, and knees are bent. Other way. And then the hips. And the knees. And the neck. And nice stretch. Feet stay flat. Keep breathing throughout the stretch. And coming forward, down. And down on that back knee, pushing the hip forward. And up. And tenkai. And forward and down. On the knee, pushing the hip forward. And up. And then a little bit with the ankles, get the toes first. Then rolling. Toes. Rolling the ankle. Good. And bring the knee up and over. Working the hips, lower back. Good. Shifting the weight forward and back, getting that arm swing with gravity and momentum. Keeping that arm relaxed, that shoulder completely neutral. So using the legs and the feet to drive that movement, not the arm at all. And letting gravity take that arm vertical. And we'll start the other way. Just rocking forward and back, just like Funakoki Endo. Consciously releasing that shoulder joint. And releasing over to gravity. Staying nice and vertical. Tenkai. Again, just like Funakoki Endo, but we're just concentrating on one arm. And giving it to gravity. Feel gravity work right through that arm, right through the fingertips. and releasing over to gravity. And we get another arm swing by pulsing into the ground. So again, I'm not doing this with my arms at all. My arms are just hanging. But if I can get a timing connection through my body, that pulsing into the ground sends those arms out. Finding a natural rhythm, connection through the body. And then if I pulse a bit more, I can get a full turn. Nothing in the shoulders. Nice, good breathing into the abdomen. And then the other way. Again, just from the legs. Good, the arms hang. Good, okay. Let's do some basic movement. And then we'll do all of the white belt program and move a little bit into the 9th Q program. Okay, so let's have the left leg forward. Left is called Hidari. So this is Hanmi no Kamae, ready stance. You can see from the side. Back leg is straight but not locked. Front knee is bent, knee right over the foot. Hanmi no Kamae. Left leg forward. Front foot comes offline, a little bit of a turn. So that's Irimi Sugieshi. Sugieshi. Front foot comes offline, 45-degree turn. We stay in that forward leg. We're concentrating on keeping a forward attitude, forward stance, just like holding a sword. So once again, that's front foot offline, turn. That's Irimi Sugieshi. So let's do that with the count. And every time we come here, let's hold that for approximately 2 seconds. You can do your own self-correcting. Maybe I'm leaning a little bit. Get the hips under the head. A lot of times when we move, we collapse. We lose our extension when we move. So we want to keep that out. Roll the elbows forward, just like you're holding a jo or a bokken. Keep it out away from the body. So we wouldn't hold the staff in close. We wouldn't have the sword in close, because then we can't use the weapon. So rolling the elbows forward, just like you're holding a sword. Each. Left knee stays bent. And back. San. Shi. Check a moment, see if you're leaning at all. You want to be nice and straight. Your weight is exiting straight down through your hips. San. Shi. Ho. Ho. Sich. Hach. Ho. Jo. Okay. Now, to the other Hanmi, Migi Hanmi, M-I-G-I, Migi is right. Irimi Sugieshi on this side. So front foot comes offline, 45-degree turn. Keep the weight in that forward leg. So we're choosing not to do a back stance. That's for a different time. So front foot offline, 45-degree turn, protecting our center line. Covering our center line. Okay, with the count. Each. Knee. Breathing fully into the abdomen. San. Shi. Ho. Rok. Sich. Hach. Wu. Ju. Tell you what, how about I take a look and see how you guys are doing with that. See if that's good. I can see gallery view there. So if we come back to left side forward, he dot e, and I'll do the count, each. Again, pause for 2 seconds. We'll just do a few of those. Okay, so ready? Each. Ni. Okay, so just relax for a moment. It's looking pretty good. So Keld, like you just to have your hands, I'll try to face right towards the lens, right in front of my center line, or rather, I don't want any space in between, and I don't want to be over to one side. So it's like you're drawing a line right down with your fingertips, or you're cutting a sword right down. If you have room to stand behind your dad, have your fingertips right pointing towards your dad's spine. And then when you come offline, you're still right in front. So we don't want much space there in between. Now, just to get a little bit more detailed, it's not that we want one hand on top of the other. So we don't actually want this. You see that where I have one hand completely literally on top of the other. That's a little bit too closed, and it allows too much opening on the sides. So it's not one hand over the other, but it's almost. It's more like the fingertips are angled towards the center line. The fingertips are almost on center line, and they're certainly pointing towards center line. So I don't actually technically literally want one hand on top of the other. They're apart and angled up and towards the center line. Okay, so let's do some more. So ready there. Each. Kel, that's much better. That's excellent. Knee. And make sure your forward leg, that hand is ahead. So we don't want the right hand ahead right now. It's going to be the left hand in front because the left leg's in front. So left hand's in front. Sheet. Whoa. Very good. Let's do the other side now. It's looking quite good. Migi Hanmi. Yeah, that's very good. Each. Ni. Everybody's looking really good on this side. San. Shi. That's right, Cal. Whoa. That's looking really good. Okay. Now, next basic footwork is Ayumiyashi. We just did Sugiyashi. Irimi Sugiyashi. Irimi Ayumiyashi is the back foot. So Ayumi is a full step. So let's say we're in Migi Hanmi, right leg forward. And if you want to do just the footwork a couple times, that's fine. Irimi Ayumiyashi, back foot comes up and offline, and then front foot comes back 45 degrees. Of course, we're still maintaining a forward stance. So we start with the weight in the right leg, and we finish with the weight in the left leg to maintain that forward stance. And of course, switching the legs switches my arms for me. So I'm actually not doing this with my arms. I simply switch my feet and I rotate around my center axis. The center line, I just rotate around it as I switch my feet or turn my hips. And that totally changes my arms for me. I don't do this. In fact, let's try this drill. This is a really, really basic drill, but it's really fundamental and really, it's informative. It helps us get a real sense that we don't move our arms, but our arms are moved. So that's a phrase I often say. The arms don't move, but they are moved. So put your arms straight out here. Yep, straight out from your shoulders. Okay, now my arms are not gonna, I'm not going to move my arms. Here you can see that's me moving my arms, right? I'm bending my elbows and I'm straightening them. I'm using my biceps, my shoulders. That's moving the arms, right? In fact, you do that right now. Move your arms because it's really good to contrast. So this is not what we want to do. What I want to do is I'm going to turn my hips and Kel, that's the right idea. Turning my hips moves my arms, but my arms are exactly where they were. So if I bring my hips back to center, here. Okay, now we have to refine this a little bit. So Kel, you started off really good with that. And Joey and Sarah started out okay, but then what tends to happen, people tend to, they move their arms over to the corner. So keep the fingertips pointing straight forward. In fact, see how my hands stay directly in front of my shoulders? Yes. The only reason why they're sliding past each other is because you're turning the hips. So Sarah, that's getting it. Yeah, Joey, that's exactly right. Kel, do you have that too? Just try to have your hands stay more straightforward though. Now let's just do this for a bit more because this is the simple dynamic, the mechanics of everything we do. In that, movement and power comes from the legs and hips, not the arms. The arms are not doing it. The arms do not move, but the arms are moved. Our basic position just happens to be, typically it's Minucci. And whenever we change our arms, we don't change our arms. I just turn my hips or rotate around my center line. Because if I use my arms, they're not very strong. They're not very big, they're not very strong, especially one arm. And it's easily to interrupt or resist an arm if someone's fighting you. In fact, imagine this. Imagine someone much bigger than me is grabbing my wrist or my arm. Let's say they weigh 150 pounds more than me, and they're strong. And they don't want me to move. They're going to, of course, I maybe want to pull back away from this monster. They're going to hold on tight. If I try to pull back with my arm, even with my arm and shoulder, even with my arm and shoulder and back, they can resist that. But if I step back and turn my hips and shift my weight, then it's not my arm that has to beat them. It's my whole weight and my unified body movement. Look at my arm here. My arm is not moving. I'm not doing this. My arm is not moving, but I step back and turn my hips. If I rely on my arm, it's very, very weak, very, very separate. It's the same when we're delivering a strike or actively blocking. I don't want to rely on this pumping action. It's not very strong. I maintain Minucci, this clear strength, this clear shape. And when I move my body to hit something or to block something, that's my entire body, all my momentum, unified movement, and it's just expressed or issued through that shape. So this is such a simple, let's just try that for another moment. Very simple drill that really gives the mind and the body the right idea and the right feeling. It's the turning of my hips or turning around my center line that's making the arms move. The arms themselves aren't doing it. The arms keeping their shape. They just keep their shape, which is basically like a Minucci shape right now. Exactly, very good. So when I do Irimi Aimiashi, the only reason why my arms move is because my hips or my legs are moving, or I'm rotating around my vertical axis. My arms do not change from that. I'm just turning around my vertical axis. So I'm not doing this. It becomes a disjointed movement, separate movement. I simply turn my shape, turn around my center line, maintain my shape. So when we do Irimi Amiyashi, back foot comes up. That's the only reason why that changes. Front foot comes back. But I have not changed my shape. I have not collapsed. So I didn't do this. I didn't collapse one and send the other one out, collapse the other one, send the other one out. That's a very weak movement. This stays clear and strong. Basic Minucci, clear and strong. I'm just turning my base, turning around my center line. Stays out. Okay, so right leg forward. Back foot comes up. Front foot comes back, 45 degrees. Weight stays in the left leg, front leg. You still have extension because your arms haven't changed. Physically, it's changed places, but you haven't changed the shape of your arms. And coming back. Back foot comes up offline, front foot comes back. Weights in the left leg slightly, and back. So let's do that with the count. Each. Self-check, self-assess, self-correct. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rook. Sich. Hutch. Ku. Ju. That's very good. And I see that you're all really working that center line awareness. It's very, very nice. Let's do the other side. So Hidari. If you want to work the footwork a couple times, so the back foot comes up offline, left foot comes back 45 degrees, weight stays forward in the right leg this time. So back leg, right leg comes up, 45-degree turn, weight stays in the right leg, forward leg. Arms maintain their shape. Okay, let's do that. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Ho. Ro. Sich. Hutch. Ku. Ju. Excellent. Okay. By the way, feel free to jump on the unmute button anytime if you have any questions, okay? That's the basic footwork. A couple other basic footwork. Let's just very briefly, very quickly go through Minucci, just very briefly. So, Minucci. Biggest possible arc. Elbow slightly bent. That's an A shape. So not palms towards camera, hand blades, edges of the hands. The back heel stays flat. If the back heel comes off, you're probably leaning. The back heel stays flat on the ground. And the back heel pushes the hips forward. Good. Now let's do that with the tenkai, with the turn. And remember, that's a nice big arc. Nice big arc up. Nice big arc down. Excellent. Okay, now let's just touch upon funakoki undo. Funakoki undo. Knuckles roll under on the way forward. Knuckles roll on top on the way back. Want to keep it in front of the hips so we don't lose control. The hands stay in front of our hips. Good. And then with the turn, one heel, then the other heel. Turn on one heel, then turn on the other heel. Each time you're shifting the weight forward. Keep your knees bent so you're not bobbing up and down at all.
Do we do this at our own pace?
Yeah, you can do this at your own pace, you bet.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not counting right now, so you can just work on it at your own steady pace. Yeah, let's have a look. Keep going just for a minute. Excellent. Okay. Hidari. Tenkan. Tenkan means turning. So this is Tenkan Undo. Tenkan Undo. Undo means exercise or drill. So turning, drill, turning exercise. Let's just make sure we have the geometry. So back foot comes up, just like we did for Ayumiashi. This is just like Ayumiashi, except to go a full 90 degrees. That's the only difference. So if I'm doing Ayumiashi, back foot comes up, I turn 45 degrees. Only difference now is instead of 45, I go 90. So it's a Ayumiashi movement. So again, the back foot comes up offline. Instead of turning 45, I turn 90 degrees. The weight is still in the right leg. Forward knee is bent. So the back foot comes up and we turn 45 degrees. Good. Now, as we do that, we're going to do that Manuchi shape. So of course, the arm movement comes from the legs. So when I step up, that drives the Manuchi up. So big arc up. As this leg comes back, it draws the arms back down in front of your hips. Stepping up, drives the arms up right in front of your center line. As the foot settles back, it draws the arms back down to the hips. Okay, let's do a few together. So each count will be there and back. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roke. Siege. Hutch. Ku. Ju. That's looking good. That's looking good. Okay, now we'll do Migi Hanmi, Migi, right side. And that's going to be a 180-degree turn. So if you want to do the footwork a few times, feel free. So the back foot steps forward, turns on the ball of the foot as it lands, and the right leg comes all the way back. Back leg steps up, turning on the ball, bringing the other leg back. So it's a step up, turning on the ball as you land on it, turning back. And we want to also finish in a forward stance. So we're not caving or evading, we're staying strongly present. Okay, then as you know, we simply have the arms driven by the leg movement. Okay, so let's do a few of those. Again, one count would be there and coming back. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rok. Sich. Hach. So Kel, more extension, okay? Keep your hands all the way out there the whole time. Cool.
I'm trying to focus on what's it called? Not bobbing and keeping my leg bent. So
Excellent. Excellent.
that's why I was doing more or less, just a little bit less of this.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to focus on one or two things mainly at a time. That's a really good way of, that's a good methodology of learning. So another time you can then really focus on the extension, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. That's a really good methodology, good approach. So just before we finish, let's do some things that are specifically on Sarah's program. Now, this is bringing a couple footworks together. So if I illustrate, here is Irimi Amiyashi, which we've all done tonight, and then we add a Tenkai. So in the Natsuki program, we're adding on, building on to the basic footwork. Let's do that together. Right leg forward. Let's just do the footwork and not worry about the arms. So Irimi Ayumiyashi. Tenkai is the pivot, right? So we turn on the left heel, turn on the right heel. You're in a forward stance in the right leg. Yeah, let's do that a couple more times. So right leg is forward. We do Irimi Ayumiyashi, and then Tenkai, turning on the left heel, turn on the right heel, and the weight is forward in the right leg. We always finish in a forward stance. If we do that once again, break that down. So when I do Irimi Amiyashi, I'm forward in the left leg. When I do my Tenkai, I'm forward in the right leg. Now, all we have to do is simply keep the arms out here. Just keep the arms out there, and they're only going to change because they're changed by the hips or the turning of the body. We don't change them. We just keep them out there. Okay? So here we are in Migi Hanmi. Irimi Ayumiyashi, Tenkai. The weight's in the forward leg, the right leg. Let's come back again, right leg forward. Irimi Ayumiyashi, Tenkai. Weight's in the forward leg, the right leg. Irimi Ayumiyashi, Tenkai. Let's do that with the count. So that'll be 2 counts. Each, knee. Okay, here we go. Each, knee. Couple more. Knees are bent. Each, knee. One more. Each, knee. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So, hidari. Left side forward. Let's do the footwork a couple times. So, Irimi Ayumiyashi. Turn on the right heel, turn on the left heel. Weight is forward in the left leg. Once more. Left leg is forward. Irimi Ayumiyashi. Tenkai. Weight is forward in the left leg. Now, you just keep your shape with the arms, protecting your center line. Here we go. So, Irimi Ayumiyashi. Tenkai. Weights in the forward leg, the left leg. Coming back, left leg forward. Irimi Amiyashi, Tenkai. Remember, one heel, then the other heel. Not turning at the same time on both heels. Irimi Amiyashi, Tenkai. Okay, let's do that in 2 counts. Each knee. Each knee. Okay, one more time. Ready? Each knee. Okay, let's do now another move based on white belt movement. Same thing, Irimi Amiyashi, but now Tenkan instead of Tenkai. So it looks like this. Irimi Amiyashi, Tenkan. Right? This is Tenkan. Let's all really briefly do Tenkan. Have your left leg forward, forward in the left leg. Throw your right leg behind you, throw your right leg behind you, right leg behind you. Remember, it's good to do a little bit of a turn on your front leg first. Now have the other leg forward, right leg forward. Turn a little bit on your right foot to swing the left foot behind. You got it. So now we can put those 2 things together. So Migi Hanmi, right side forward. Irimi Amiyashi, Tenkan. Yes. Let's come back to right leg forward. Irimi Amiyashi. Remember, you can turn on the ball of the left foot first. Throw your right leg behind you. And coming back, right leg forward. Irimi Amiyashi, Tenkan. You face 180 degrees behind you. 180 degree turn. Okay, right leg forward. Irimi Amiyashi, Tenkan. Okay, so 2 counts. 1, 2. Set up right leg forward. 1, 2. One more time, set up. 1, 2. Okay, let's just do a couple on the other side. Hidari. Irimi Amiyashi, Tenkan. Back to the left side forward. Irimi Amiyashi, Tenkan. One more. Each knee. So that's all we have time for tonight. So let's do a bow out. Okay. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. So that was a really good review. Good basic work.